October 9th. That's where it starts.
Ooh, goody goody gumdrops. There's a new video, new Basquiat video I haven't seen. I haven't seen this video. 1212. I haven't seen this video, so we're about to get into it. It's 12 minutes long. It was released 1 month ago. Let's check it out.
Contemporary art is weird, right? It's all about interpretation. What was the author thinking? What did he want to show us? Is it a feeling or a veiled political statement? Museum labels and curators try and fail to explain most of it, as if they were guessing the answers themselves. They won't.
I love this already. This is so dope. So dope. The production value is just like it's just crazy dope. Let's keep it going, shall we? And then what she says, people are trying to guess the meaning of these works of art, it's like, yo, let it be. But what also captured my attention is she says the title of this video says Why Nobody Gets Jean Michel Basquiat. And I thought I read like a description that said something to the effect that like Basquiat has so much meaning behind his work. And that's what grabbed my attention. I was like, oh, she's gonna I mean, I didn't know it was a she until I started playing this, but they're gonna talk about the meaning behind his work. All right, yes. Yeah, there was something before when I found this video. It said something like, why nobody tries to understand Basquiat. I don't know what it was. Something grabbed my attention. Something. Anywho, let's get back into it.
Tell you how simple it really is. I'm here for that.
I'm here for that
But
too.
first, tell me, what do you see in this painting?
Yo, I see a fireman. I see what looks like a doctor. I see a dude, like, looks like they're putting, clear. Those, I don't know, not defibrillators or whatever, but like they're trying to shock the dude. That's what it looks like to me. That's what I see right now. I haven't seen this painting by Basquiat before.
A man, a black man, a woman, a punching sound, and a fireman?
Okay, I got the fireman, but I didn't see a woman initially. When I saw this, I didn't see a woman. The black man, okay, I could see that. Yeah, definitely. Jean Michel would either paint himself, and if there's a black man in his artwork, if he's not named, it's usually Jean Michel. That's what I've come to learn from, seeing a lot of his work.
I'll tell you the whole story.
Please.
She always keeps her heroin inside her beehive hairdo. The white powder hidden in the teas and spit. The cops can't find it. The drug addicts can't find it. Suzanne holds her head high. These are the opening lines of Widow Basquiat, a book telling the story of Suzanne Malouk and her relationship with Jean Michel Basquiat, one of the most important, influential, and yet straightforward contemporary artists. Suzanne Malouk, a Canadian-born daughter of a Palestinian woman and a British man, came to New York on Valentine's Day in the year 1980. The city was very rich. The wealth gap was very wide. The AIDS epidemic, albeit ignored by the Reagans completely, was still on the rise.
That's interesting to hear that the wealth gap was still apparent in the 1980s. So it's kind of like it's been what it is. It is what it is, but it's been that way for a long time, which is fascinating to me because the stark difference between the rich and the poor is something that I see on a constant, in America, in Los Angeles, moving around town. I'm like, you see the homeless and stuff like that. So I remember one Christmas, my dad took my sister and I and my mom, got us all in the car, and he drove around the city, and he had us look at the homeless people, and it was supposed to be a lesson like you don't want to end up like these people. So like do your homework, be good in school, be good in society. That was our that's how we spent our Christmas one year. I could be wrong about the dates and times, and I think it was Christmas, and I think he was trying to make a point. He made his point, certainly made his point. I could have the timeline wrong or whatever, but let's continue.
The Cold War was looming over. Also, the East Village factory buildings were abandoned and welcoming to those who didn't care much about comfort. Most of the middle-class comfort lovers left for suburbia anyway. And in came the new renters.
There was a moment there where I really thought I was going to pass.
Got this. Whoops, let me turn it down. Let's keep it rolling until I can skip it. All right, let's get back to it.
Everyone did everything. And everyone did a little graffiti. Graffiti walls often look like this. You see, everything's painted over and over and over again. But this one is different. Nobody painted over it for months. Mind you, it's a schoolyard wall. This meant respect. Because this was no simple I was here tag. This was Jean Michel Basquiat. Basquiat was born in Brooklyn to a Puerto Rican mother and a Haitian father. He wanted to be a fireman and then a cartoonist. He had failed at life drawing in 9th grade. When he broke his arm, his mother brought him a human anatomy book, and he learned to draw skeletons.
All right. Full transparency, this is my second time watching this video up until this point. So I knew she was going to say this about, well, everything that I've already said, yeah, I knew that I made sure to say it, okay? But from this point on, it's all going to be, my reaction, in real time. But I want to stop here to say that she said Jean Michel Basquiat broke his arm and his mom gave him the Grey's Anatomy book. No, that's incomplete, like inaccurate, and that's also she's left out the details so much so that it's like she's jeopardized the integrity of this video. It's like, are you serious? I don't even want to watch anymore. Okay, here's what happened. Based upon my study of Jean Michel's life, he was hit by a car. And this wasn't just, he was hit by a car and broke his arm and only broke his arm, as she, says it. No, he was hit by a car. He had multiple injuries, but the greatest injury that he had was his spleen. I guess his spleen erupted or ruptured or something. Anyhow, what I know about his life and his story is that he had to have his spleen removed following the accident, being hit by a car. So it wasn't just that he got his arm broken. You can get your arm broken, as I did when I was a kid, go into the hospital, have them, wrap you up, bandage you up, and you're out in the same day. No, Jean Michel had to stay in the hospital for a very long time. And his mom brought him the book to educate himself. He could, educate himself, but then also he could keep his creativity, keep his mind, active, because he would be able to look within his body and understand the human body, understand what was happening to him. He could locate the spleen and understand what the doctors were doing to him. I think those details were very important. He didn't just break his arm. So she lost points with this video with me, but the rest of the video, we're going to watch it and see. So let's check it out.
When he was 10, she was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. In 11th grade, he dropped out of school. The family moved to Puerto Rico. He took off with a local DJ and learned some Spanish. When the family moved back to Brooklyn, he ran away for good.
Let me stop there. She was bouncing around with the timeline. You notice that? She said he was 10 years. She mentioned something about him being 10 years old when his mom went into the psychiatric hospital. And then quickly or before that, quickly thereafter or before that statement, she said when he was in the 11th grade or something. He wasn't 10 years old in the 11th grade. And I don't think the chronology was, she was just bouncing around his life just to make the story sound, Interesting. But let's keep it moving.
The East Village welcomed him. Samo, Basquiat's first art project, was a collaboration with Al Diaz, one of the East Village graffiti pioneers. Al Diaz was also a Puerto Rican artist just as broke and young as Basquiat. They became fast friends. The word Samo itself first appeared as a joke, or rather a complaint. It went like this. The weed they smoked was not that good. AKA, same old crap. AKA, Samo. Samo was supposed to be an imaginary new religion that could cure the world. Samo as Viagra for a flaccid society. Samo as an end to it all. Samo as an alternative to God. Like I said, Samo was no simple tag. Basquiat wanted to bind.
Yo, all right. So even these details are not like up to snuff. Okay. So, all right. So she brought in Al Diaz. Perfect. She's on point with that. Like she could have glossed over Al Diaz and been like, oh, Jean Michel created it all by himself. She didn't do that. So she's done some research. But the Samo, like Al Diaz has said it himself a number of times. They were drawing from African American vernacular. There were black men saying same old, how you doing? Oh, same old, meaning it was the same old stuff. That's the nice way of putting it, or same old shit. Like life, cyclical, right? Things are happening, going, we're just going around the sun, every year, and Earth is rotating around, on its axis. So these things it's the same old. So that's where they pulled it from. And then they had an assignment and they created this fake religion. That was part of their school assignment. So there are just some minor details there about the story, but minor, but I mean, she left them out, so that would mean that they were minor, but no, they're big details. Like, let's get it right. I guess that's why I'm here.
And the art with his name. He wanted identity and identification. He wanted to live off his art, as true artists do. And in order to achieve that, he first needed to break into the predominantly white art world. So he called it out. Samo for the so-called avant-garde. Samo as an alternative to playing art with the radical chic sect on daddy's funds. Samo as a conglomerate of dormant genius. But New York art critics were still enjoying pop art on 57th Street. Street artist was an unusual and way too unorthodox combination of words for them. His art was left unnoticed by the industry. So Basquiat was broke. Like broke. Picking up coins from club dance floors, sleeping in Washington Square Park, selling postcards in restaurants for $1. When finally an article came out about Samo, he replied with, Samo is dead. That was the world Suzanne entered, and that was the guy she met. They first met when she was working in a bar in the East Village. He would come there every day to read poems to her and treat her to the best drinks on the menu. He liked expensive things. They moved in together, fast. Both in their 20s, tended to act quickly. She worked, they fought, he did art, plus they did a lot of drugs. Once they went to MoMA, he asked Suzanne to count black men. There were none.
Yo, all right. The gold zero on this with the backdrop like this, I made a cover of one of my books with the gold zero just like that. But that's just a coincidence, just me vibing right there. They said Suzanne and Jean Michel went to MoMA to check out and Jean Michel said count the black men, and they found zero. Yo, I think it's because I've been hip to Jean Michel for such a long time. It's because, like, I'm on the same wavelength as Jean Michel was. It's like, yo, he was woke. He was woke way before woke was even, a term. This is part of being woke, going into a white space and saying, yo, where are we? Where are the representations of Africa, of Africans. And he went into the museum with Suzanne and was like, yo, we're not even represented. So I did this. I was in Spain. I went to the Prado in 2018. I went to the Prado Museum and I walked around the whole museum, every nook and cranny, and I was looking for representations of Africans, of black people. I found fewer than 10 representations, fewer than 10. I could count them on my hands. And then really the African representations were probably 5. They have a bust of the Ethiopians, right? They two or three busts of Ethiopians, but those busts, those sculptures were so difficult to find. I was like, yo, this is ridiculous. And then the big masterworks, the masterpieces and all that, you'll be hard pressed to find any African representation. There's a lot of religious, themed artwork at the Prado, and the one work of Jesus represents him, basically as an Arab, as a Palestinian, Jew, which he was according to the Bible and history. But the image isn't of a very dark man, but a more, Arabic, type of dude. So even when I saw that representation of Jesus, I was like, is he like, he's not as dark as I was looking for. So basically I didn't find a lot of dark people, a lot of representations of dark people, Africans, dark skin, dark melanated, beings at the Prado. I didn't see it. And I was on the same wavelength with Basquiat. Like, yo, where is this? Where are we? All right, I'm going to stop right here. We're going to pick up in a minute on part 2 of this video. You heard?
I'm from where the fat beats stretch for mad blocks. I'm from where the fat beats stretch for mad blocks.
You're at 109 right now.
Say, look at this. I've been cleaning out my nest, and I found an old book.
What have we here? You're at 109 right now.